book, Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela stated, and I quote, "As I walked out the door towards the gate that would lead me towards my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I will still be in prison," end quote. We are living in times of a crisis. There is fear, bitterness, frustration, and anger. So many people, start my video. So many people are experiencing trauma and are losing hope right now. Many plans that people had have failed. There is no doubt that the era that we are in right now can be characterized as a syndemic. The CEO of the American Psychological Association, Dr. Arthur C. Evans, Jr., noted that the world is in the midst of a syndemic. The syndemic is the confluence of three biggest forces we are struggling with today. These are a dangerous, rapidly spreading disease, a political awakening to hundreds of years of racism and brutality, and a nascent mental health crisis that is fueled by the other two factors, as well as economic and political uncertainty. At the same time, has exacerbated the socio-economic inequalities. What kind of leaders do we need in such a crisis? It is during this time that the importance of great leadership becomes critical and essential. This is the time when great leaders and great leadership are called to step up and show up. As we celebrate the Nelson Mandela Day today, we are reminded of the leadership lessons that we can learn from the leadership qualities and styles that Nelson Mandela taught us. The most important lessons, or rather lesson, is that leaders are real human beings. Nelson Mandela taught us and showed us that he was a real human being. He was not infallible. And also he taught us that we should not dehumanize human beings and leaders was realized. President Nelson Mandela was an advocate for peace. He also taught us the following qualities of leadership, which are essential in the time of crisis that we are in today. Persistence. He continuously persisted towards the achievement of his goal for peace, for unity, and for inclusiveness. Humility. He always ensured that he was humble enough to listen and embrace different perspectives and different views. He did not look down upon any particular view, regardless of whether he agreed or disagreed with it. Empowerment. He ensured that people that he led were empowered, and at the same time were able to confront him and disagree with him. He did not create an environment of fear where people were scared to confront him and tell him that they disagreed with him. Honesty, morality, responsibility, transformational, inspirational. He inspired his people towards that particular common goal. Building trust. His leadership was based on trust. His people believed in him because they trusted in him. They trusted that everything that he was saying, it was for the benefit of the whole nation. It was not just for his individual benefit. Ethical. Nelson Mandela did not abuse his leadership skills, talent, and his charisma. In addition, from President Nelson Mandela, we learned that leaders need to understand and acknowledge that there is a crisis in the first place, not to deny until things get worse. It's important that leaders acknowledge that there is a crisis, because it's only when we acknowledge that we are in a crisis that we can be able to take action and do something about it. Leaders need to understand that they do not have all the answers, and that is humility. That is where listening and seeking different views and different perspectives become critical. Because as a leader, I don't have all the answers. In the room, there might be people who know better than I do. So it's important that I listen and ensure that I take all views into consideration before I get to a particular decision. And that decision should be the decision that is embraced by everyone. Even if not everyone agrees with it, but everyone will be able to embrace it. Because part of the process. When there is a crisis, it is tempting for you would have failed as a leader. In addition, leaders must be willing to genuinely listen to the concerns of the people. It's one way to say that I'm listening, but only to find that you have already come to a particular conclusion. So this so-called listening is just going through the emotions. Effective leaders listen genuinely and listen with genuine concern before they come to a particular conclusion or decision. They should be able to make decisions even if there is no clear path forward, even if it's not clear. Effective leaders are able to make a decision because there is nothing worse than being indecisive as a leader. So leaders that are effective, leaders that are trusted by their people are able to make decisions and move forward. If the decision is wrong, they'll come back and apologize, admit that they've made a mistake, and that is being that is having humility. Leaders in a crisis need to share information that helps people. So they communicate, and they communicate effectively and consistently. And the communication of that information helps people to know what is happening all the time. So people are not in the dark. They don't know how the leader came to this particular conclusion. They feel that we're not part of it. We're not consulted. And then they distance themselves from that particular decision. In a crisis, leadership is not just about talking. So it's one way just to talk for the sake of talking so that people see that you are present. It is not about deceiving people, telling people wrong information. Leadership is about listening effectively. It is about understanding the pain that the communities feel and experience, and the organization that the leader is serving. It is understanding that these people are angry, these people are frustrated, they are going through a pain. So it's important to understand that these people are going through all these different emotions, even if you do not agree with them as a leader, but it's important to move from that understanding. The effectiveness of a leader in times of crisis is entirely based on trust. As I indicated earlier, once trust is lost, a leader cannot continue to lead. It's important to understand that people are already upset, angry, and frustrated. Therefore, we need leaders who are particularly good at calming people down. When they show up, people understand them. Why? Because people trust them. Leaders in times of crisis are outward focused rather than focusing inwards towards their emotions, towards how they feel, but they are looking more at how people feel. They have the ability to calm people down because they are moving from that particular platform. Shared risks, people seeing that they were all in the same, they are all in the same boat together. So as a leader, I need to depict that, to show that we're all in this boat together. And that is exactly what Nelson Mandela did. When people approached him with different concerns, either they were minorities, they were marginalized groups, they were majorities, but he listened and made all of them feel that we're all in this together. We cannot allow ourselves to perish together. So we are all in this together. We have to work together to find solutions together. Leaders in a crisis need to show care and concern. They need to show the ability of moving forward, facing the reality, not denying what is happening. They need to focus on purpose and shared vision. What is it that is binding all of us together, rather than focusing on things that are dividing us? Good leaders in a crisis understand that people help people, they help people and work with people. So they understand that help comes from people themselves. So they work with people so that people are able to help themselves, stand up and tell people and give instructions of what needs to happen, because that is a recipe for disaster. The following are some of the important leadership qualities and aspects during a crisis. Having common, consistent messages and clear messages, messages that are truthful and transparent. Being empathic so that people understand that you as a leader understand that they are all in this together, and also that people are having stress and that people are having and experiencing difficulties. As a leader in a crisis, you need to express your own humanity, that you are a human being, you are not infallible, so that people are able to relate to you at an individual human level. And also it's important that leaders in a crisis show that they are realistic, even if they show that things are going to be better tomorrow. That hope must be based on realistic expectations so that people are not deceived. It's important that as a leader, you indicate, you show to the people that you are leading that there is hope, but that hope must be based on realistic expectations, on realistic positivity. We can all lead and lead effectively in our own spaces and spheres of influence. We do not need formal titles to become leaders. If we take the lessons that we learned from the leadership qualities that President Nelson Mandela taught us, we can ease the bitterness anger, and frustration, and we can be able to lead better and in an effective manner during this crisis and beyond. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a wonderful